You are watching KEVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Adam Seibel. The Edna Police Department and Texas Rangers apprehended a suspect in the capital murder case of Lisbeth Medina late Saturday night in Schulenburg. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick joins us now with more.
That's right, Adam. The Jackson County Herald Tribune says Rafael Romero was taken to the Jackson County Jail. He was arrested just hours after the vigil in honor of Lisbeth and Edna. Lisbeth's family and the community of Edna paid tribute to her Saturday evening. They mourned her loss and also demanded justice for her murder. Her aunt says that she was sure the community would fight for justice.
I just hope that whoever did this to her is caught and he pays for what he did. And I know this is a tight-knit community and they'll find him soon.
Says the community did just that. They worked with Edna PD and Texas Rangers to find the 23-year-old responsible. Now Romero's bond is set for $2 million. The Edna PD plan to host a press conference this week to answer further questions. We will continue to keep you updated. Adam, back to you.
All right, thanks, Darius. Hallettsville Police Department report a major accident east of the city limits of Hallettsville near the Navidad River Bridge. They ask you to please take an alternate route as the highway will be closed for an unknown amount of time. This was reported via their Facebook page around 9 p.m., so we're still awaiting more details on that accident. More than 50 million people in the Northeast are under a flood watch from Virginia to Maine, but we begin with that deadly tornado outbreak in the South, where at least 6 people are dead in central Tennessee, including a 2-year-old boy.
Tonight, deadly tornadoes and severe storms leaving a trail of destruction across the southern U.S. At least 6 killed, including a 2-year-old boy, and dozens more injured, after an outbreak of over 25 reported tornadoes across the region. This tornado blowing through northern Nashville, damaging electrical equipment, igniting a massive explosion.
Oh my God.
Officials say 3 people in that same neighborhood were killed, including that 2-year-old and his mother, after the winds blew one of these mobile homes onto the other, leaving nothing but mangled wreckage. The tornado's path coming through this street, taking down power lines, hitting cars, leaving debris everywhere. Attendees of a nearby church banquet racing to take shelter inside. The church now severely damaged. The pastor there says none of the roughly 40 people inside were hurt.
We get to say good morning to our loved ones again. We all walked out alive.
Authorities today warning damage from the storm still poses a threat.
There's still a significant risk of debris in unstable structure areas. It is critical that you exercise extreme caution when you navigate through affected areas.
Tonight, more than 50 million Americans under flood threat, with the deadly system now sweeping east, bringing torrential rains and damaging winds from northern Florida to New England. Here in Tennessee, a state of emergency remains. Meantime, today, authorities sharing that the majority of the buildings destroyed here were hundreds of homes or apartments. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Clarksville, Tennessee.
Now we're going to check in with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining to see what the weather's like down here. Doesn't seem to be as severe, but it is getting pretty cold out there.
Exactly, sure is. I called some friends that live there near Nashville. They weren't affected by the storms, thankfully, but our hearts go out to those that were and impacted by those storms up there in Tennessee. For us here, we're pretty quiet. Cold temperatures tonight. Looking at a live view from Quora ISD, looking at the weather book site there. The lights of the city there and the water tower there in the center. And we have a freeze warning for parts of the Crossroads area coming up for tonight. How cold will it be in your area? We'll find out later on in the full forecast. Adam?
All right, thanks, Trey. Now to the Israel-Hamas war. Tonight, there is warning the window for the ceasefire is narrowing, and the World Health Organization cautions Gaza's healthcare system is collapsing. Displaced people packed into smaller areas, desperate for food, water, and sanitation. Diseases are said to be running rampant.
Ongoing bombardment in Gaza is narrowing the window for a truce. That's Qatar's warning tonight as they urge the US to play a broader role in pressuring Israel and agreeing to a ceasefire. It was the Qatar-brokered truce that secured the release of 110 hostages. 137 remain. Over the weekend, Israel says it struck more than 250 targets in Gaza, forces deepening the ground fight in Khan Yunis, claiming to have found AK-47s and grenades ready for combat. This is a war being fought in and around people's homes. ABC News producer Sami Ziara is there.
You hear in the background the exchanging of fire. The ground vision continue for the 5 days. And there is, heavy machine gun has been used.
Thousands of civilians caught in the crossfire. More than 18,000 now dead, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. And the humanitarian crisis worsening. Crowds forming at food distribution sites. The World Health Organization warning that Gaza's health system is collapsing.
The impact of the conflict on health is catastrophic.
WHO's director saying overcrowding in shelters could lead to the spread of disease. The IDF says they're doing what they can to protect civilians, but new videos drawing criticism.
We've seen videos today out of Gaza that show IDF soldiers in gift shops smashing toys. Another video I saw of 2 IDF soldiers burning material that was going to be handed out, humanitarian goods, water. What goes through your mind when you see videos like that?
They're unacceptable. There are fringe events that need to be dealt with, and we are dealing with them with disciplinary measures.
And tonight, ABC News has been given special access to the IDF base, where victims of sexual violence during the October 7th attacks were identified.
We're more than 60 days now since these attacks, and yet there are teams here still going through identification processes. I mean, that speaks to the level of violence.
100%. It's very difficult to identify bodies that have been obliterated. They came to us with eyes open, with their mouths in grimaces, with their hands clenched. These women died in agony. I know that, and our teams, we saw that.
Just today, Israel carried out strikes on southern Lebanon on Hezbollah targets, and Israel's national security advisor has said that if Hezbollah remains a threat, then they will turn their attentions more fully on Lebanon once the war in Gaza is over. James Longman, ABC News in Tel Aviv.
Hundreds of protesters marched in Arlington, Virginia today demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. They marched behind a banner that read "Free Palestine" as they chanted, "From the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever." They also held signs calling the U.S. to stop funding Israel. In Gaza, Israel warplanes have begun striking parts of southern Gaza. U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says Israel has reduced its military operations in northern Gaza because of concerns raised by the United States about potential civilian casualties. The European Union has moved toward becoming the first major world power to enact laws governing AI. This comes after a deal was made Friday between the EU countries and European Parliament members. Both sides reached a provisional deal on landmark European Union rules governing the use of artificial intelligence, including governments' use of AI and biometric surveillance, and how to regulate AI systems such as ChatGPT. The two sides are set to hash out the details in the coming days, which could change the shape of the final legislation. The accord requires foundation models such as ChatGPT to comply with transparency obligations before they are put on the market. European Commissioner Terry Britton praised the provisional deal. Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Should there be more regulations regarding AI? Looks like 94% say yes and 6% say no. Thanks for voting. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. Grab your cell phone and scan this QR code. That allows you to download our Crossroads Today app, which you can watch us anytime, anywhere, and get breaking news alerts and vote in our viewer polls. Learn all about our ongoing contest right there on the app and submit news tips and photos. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up, a plane crash in Oklahoma City has left one person dead today.
Mighty chilly temperatures tonight. Freeze warning in effect for areas from Cuero area, Hallettsville, Karnes City, and points to the north. Even in Victoria, it could get close to that 32-degree overnight low number. We'll talk about that and the forecast for next week coming up.
The race for the White House. Former President Donald Trump doubling down and defending his comments that he would be, quote, a dictator, but only on day one if reelected.
Tonight, Donald Trump indicted for illegally trying to stay in power after the 2020 election, joking again about saying he wanted to be a dictator for a day.
And you know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall, right? I want a wall, and I want to drill, drill, drill.
Trump campaigning at a New York fundraiser Saturday night, saying he hopes to exact revenge on Democrats he thinks wronged him.
I only can say to Joe is, be very careful what you wish for, because what you've done is a terrible thing.
President Biden this weekend campaigning behind closed doors in Los Angeles, telling donors, quote, the greatest threat Trump poses is to the democracy. Biden's son this week facing new tax charges that could end up being a headache for his father's campaign if court dates coincide with the election. Hunter Biden's attorney saying it's all overblown and he paid his taxes back. According to a new Wall Street Journal poll, Trump leads Biden 47-43 in a hypothetical matchup. And at the last minute, Trump abruptly canceled his plans to testify in his own self-defense in that civil fraud trial Monday. He said on social media he has nothing more to say. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, Washington.
A plane crash in Oklahoma City left one person dead on Sunday. Authorities say at approximately 10:23 this morning, an aircraft crashed with 2 people on board. According to the Oklahoma City fire officials, one person died at the scene while the other passenger was transported to the hospital. The incident led to traffic being blocked off in the area due to debris. Officials said the cause of the accident was an engine problem. More details surrounding that crash are still developing. The Jewish holiday Hanukkah continues. In Austin, Governor Greg Abbott delivered remarks at the Texas Capitol menorah lighting ceremony. The governor was joined by several rabbis and other local faith leaders, and he had the opportunity to light what's known as the servant or attendant candle, which is responsible for lighting all the other candles on the menorah. Each night, a candle is lit until all 8 are lit up together on the final night of Hanukkah. The Jewish Festival of Lights began at sunset on December 7th and ends on the evening of December 15th. For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com, which is where you can submit your birthday wishes. Carolina will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise, and you can submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
Temperatures are falling quite rapidly, 37 degrees here in Victoria, low 40s everywhere you go, a few 50s along the coast. Some of these locations, especially north of Victoria, will be experiencing freezing temperatures tonight, and we'll talk about that and next week's weather coming up. Good Sunday evening, everyone. Trey Mining here, and it's nice and cool on the outside. Downright cold, in my opinion. And because of that, we have a freeze warning in effect. Goes into effect at 2 in the morning, Monday morning. It'll last till 9 a.m. So during that time, more than likely we'll see 13 degrees or maybe 1 or 2 degrees lower than that, all the way from Cuero, Hallettsville to I-10 corridor and points to the northwest from there in the hill country, even from San Antonio southward near Beeville. Could see some temperatures in that range. So have any tropical plants, I would bring them in or make sure they're at least covered, and watch out for the pets as well. Make sure they stay warm if they're outside typically. And we made it 62 degrees today, rather cool throughout the day. Our overnight low was 37 degrees. Be a little bit cooler than that because of the clearing skies and the lower humidity. Average 68, 46. 22 was the record low on this day way back there in the day. Of course, we're still over 4 inches under normal. We do need the rainfall. And looking down the line here, we may get some good chances for some rainfall before too much longer. Not any time in the next couple of days, but later on in the week. More on that a little bit later on, though. Temperatures currently, once again, 30s to 40s everywhere you go, from the coast all the way into the inland areas currently. And because of the high pressure just about parked overhead of us right here, and that sinking air, keeping the winds calm because we're right under the high pressure dome, low humidities as well, and lack of cloud cover, that's the radiation cooling will keep those temperatures down at or below 32 degrees, why we're pretty confident in that. But you see the high pressure exiting to the east with time, along the southerly winds to return, and Gulf moisture will increase our humidity around here and bring some cloud cover and eventually some rainfall to our region coming up toward the middle and latter half of the week coming up. So keep that in mind. Maybe some good opportunities for some good rainfall, a little bit on the heavy side potentially. So we're watching weather developments, but we still need the rain around here as that moisture continues to build, and then rain showers come into play, come in probably likely on Wednesday and lasting through the end of the week. More on that here also a little bit later on in the 7-day outlook to come. Okay, let's see, here we go. Port Lavaca for the morning time, waking up to temperatures in the 40s. No freezing temperatures in Calhoun County expected. And we'll see high temperatures well in the 60s coming up, 65 degrees or so coming up by 4 o'clock in the afternoon down in Port Lavaca. And then going to Cuero, about the same. They'll probably get to 32 degrees more than likely in the early morning hours. By 6 a.m. there should be about 35 degrees. So bring your pets in or make sure they're okay, and the plants as well. Some sun by the afternoon, high temperatures in the 60s. And in Victoria, about the same. I think we should be just above freezing temperatures here in the city with sunny skies throughout the day, partly cloudy skies. Highs in the 60s with 50s again for the 8 p.m. hour coming up for your overnight tomorrow night. And looking at the conditions here, mostly sunny skies and freezing temperatures likely in the northern parts of the Crossroads area tonight. And here comes the rainfall. We have a possible alert day coming in on Friday with a heavy rainfall potentially. As we get closer to the end time, we'll get a better handle on that. Looks nice and dry for the weekend. So carry an umbrella toward the end of the week. And then your big coat tomorrow morning, it's going to be rather chilly. Take a look at this right here. This is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code. That'll take you to a website. You can be connected with us. News, weather, and sports all at your fingertips. Very easy, and it's free of charge. Zach, take it away.
Well, the NFL season only has about a month to go, and the playoff picture more jumbled than ever. I'll have that in sports. Massive showdown between Dallas and the Eagles. The Cowboys over at AT&T Stadium, first place in the division on the line. Head coach Mike McCarthy back from surgery. And let's just look at the kicking in Arlington tonight. This is a 60-yard field goal. He would later hit a 59-yard field goal. That's the first time 2 field goals, 59 yards or longer, have been made in the same game by the same kicker in NFL history. Oh, by the way, the score in that game, Dallas currently leading 30-13. Well, ugly weather in New York and a very ugly game between the Texans and the Jets. On the first possession of the game, Nico Collins went out with a calf injury. Bad news for Houston, who lost Tank Dell last week. The Texans could not move the ball on a Jets team that had lost 5 games in a row. The score at the half was tied at 0, but in the third, the Jets erupted for 2 touchdowns. Houston would not get on the board until the final play of the third quarter. That would be their only score of the game. They lose 30-6 and lost huge opportunities because the Colts, who currently sit ahead in the standings, took on the Cincinnati Bengals, who struck first on a very long touchdown to get the scoring started. The Bengals would go on to win this game 34-14. Both teams now at 7-6. The playoff race getting awfully jumbled going into the home stretch. The Jaguars hit the road to Cleveland. Trevor Lawrence starting for the Jags. A blast from the past. Did y'all know Joe Flacco still in the league? Well, you do now. He connects here for the Browns. He would do it again in the second quarter to David Njoku. He would throw for 3 touchdowns on the day. The Browns just do squeezed by Jacksonville 31-27. So I guess Houston maybe didn't lose ground in the AFC South, but man, they could have really cemented themselves in the race for the playoffs. Oh, well, the Kansas City Chiefs trailing late at home to Buffalo. Mahomes going to hit Travis Kelce at about the 30, and Kelce going to fling it back and hit Kadarius Toney with a little backyard football, and they strike late, except it's called bat. Toney was lined up in the neutral zone. The Chiefs cannot convert on 4th and 15, and Buffalo also moves to 7-6 on the year. The last month will be an absolute dogfight for those 3 wild card spots. Well, what a story out in California for LeBron James Jr., just 5 months removed from cardiac arrest, back on the hardwood. Season debut, his father LeBron in attendance, and he's going to take a page out of his old man's book. We all remember LeBron's Game 7 block. Well, turns out it's just a family tradition. Show the athleticism and the hustle. How about the shooting touch as well from Bronny? USC, however, would fall to Long Beach State in overtime. And congratulations to Nathan Lucien out of Cuero. He has committed to the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, and it's also our last week of football coverage because it's the last week to cover football. Tidehaven looking to win a state championship this Thursday. That's it for your sports. Adam, back to you.
All right, thanks, Zach. Stay with us. Coming up, SantaCon 2023 kicked off in New York City this weekend. Digital streaming service Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. SantaCon 2023 kicked off in New York City on Saturday with dozens of people dressed up as Santa Claus. The annual SantaCon charity pub crawl featured a variety of Grinches, elves, and other Christmas-themed costumes. Kicked off at 10 a.m. in bars and clubs in Midtown Manhattan. It was scheduled to end with participants making their way downtown to conclude the festivities at 8 p.m. Organizers encouraged participants to donate $15 to enter. Participating venues, which they said will go to charitable causes. Similar Christmas-themed activities were slated in cities across the U.S. and Europe today. Looks like a fun time. I didn't know Santa Claus
I could see that.
Partook in a little bit of drinking. Maybe it was hot chocolate.
Well, you know what? Yesterday in Port Lavaca, speaking of Grinches, when you said Grinch, I was one of the judges for the parade.
Oh yeah.
And I took my dog down with me. I just wanted to get him out there, and the Grinch came walking down and was taking pictures. And my dog was so scared. Oh my God.
Oh,
I want to see those.
I would be
pictures.
too.
Huh?
I bet we want to see those pictures. I bet they're pretty cute.
I don't know if I actually have him, but he was scared of.
Oh
the
my
Grinch when he
God!
was walking
poor
down the
Norman.
street. I'll see if I got it on video. I'll make sure you get it.
I'd be scared too.
Yeah.
That Grinch means business. Okay, we'll take a look at our weather. We have a freeze warning in effect for areas from Cuero northward, so keep that in mind. It'll be frosty north of Victoria, but looking nice tomorrow coming up with high temperatures well into the 60s again. And then we'll keep the rain in the forecast toward the end of the week. So bundle up tomorrow. It'll be a little bit on the cold side, especially in the morning.
All righty. Well, thank you all, and thank you for joining us. And join us for sunrise at 5 a.m.